gentlemen, welcome to the Pop Art Hunter channel. Today we're going to be discussing a Broadway show, Aladdin. Oh, that's a shiny one. I collect souvenir programs from Broadway shows, touring productions, concerts, comedians, and things that I see. If I get the chance to get the program, I will definitely purchase it so that I can remember things and be able to talk about them later. I go on road trips and those types of things, so that's where I see all these shows. So I went to see Aladdin, and I want to go ahead and talk about all the great things that I enjoyed about it. Disney does a great job. They do a fabulous job with their productions. They don't spare any expense, and so you're usually going to get kind of a bang of a show. There are some Disney shows that I don't think were as good, and we'll talk about those in future episodes. So let's go ahead and get started and take a look at Disney's Aladdin on Broadway. Unlike the other videos where I look at a book, I mean, this is technically a book, it's a souvenir program, but I'm going to call it bookish. It's paper between binding. But when we look at books, I typically will kind of skim over and not go through every page because I don't want to spoil certain things. We are talking about a specific Broadway show, and I want to tell you all the details that I can remember. So we will go page by page. I haven't looked at this in a long time, so I want to be just as surprised as you are and kind of have some reactions to the things I see and to try to see what I can remember about the show, the parts that stand out the most. So we're going to go page by page. So if you don't want any spoilers, don't watch. So Aladdin by Disney, again, I can't express how well Disney does with their shows. They do such a good job with making the costumes, the set, the design. They do a great job with trying to firm that up into a way that is going to last and stand the test of time. They have failed before. They failed with other shows. So if they don't get it right the first time, it usually is a flop. But when they get it right, and I think Aladdin is one that they got right. I think they got it right. And that's hard to do considering how popular of a movie it is because of the actors involved. How do you replace a Robin Williams? I mean, they had a lot of struggles, and I actually anticipated this would be the one that would fail. And I was pleasantly surprised. So this is the genie. The genie in this show, again, was the most dangerous part of the show for me. Not dangerous as far as maybe. I mean, he does some incredible dancing and acrobatics, but it was dangerous as far as whether the show would succeed or not, because how do you replace Robin Williams? Robin Williams is Robin Williams. How do you replace that? And you don't. The answer is you just don't. You cannot replace Robin Williams. You cannot be Robin Williams. And with this show, what they decided to do was pay homage to Robin Williams' genie. I mean, not doing anything starkly different from what happened in the movies as far as what the genie did, but kind of letting the actor make it his own. I did not care for the genie in the new live-action movie. I love Will Smith. I think he's great in a lot of movies. I didn't care for the rap type songs, like replacing the Your Friend Like Me and Prince Ali and those things with more of a different style of music. I didn't care for that at all. I actually didn't think Will Smith did a bad job as the genie in speaking lines and in other scenes, but I did not care for the music of that show. This one, I love the music, I love the character, I love the lines, I love everything. So they did a great job with saying, hey, I know it's almost like he should come up before the show, and he kind of does this by, just the way he portrays the genie, but he shows me a 30-second little bit where he's like, hey, look, I'm not Robin Williams. I know you're disappointed in that. Hopefully you'll stick around. Here's what I got. And does an incredible job. So very stylized. I said this is the opening. I come from a land from a faraway place, and sort of opening up the show. Agrabah and is kind of put in full color, and there's just a lot of dancing and singing and goodness because it's a Broadway show. But the genie actually makes fun of that within the show. Welcome to Agrabah, and we all sing and dance essentially. And so they poke fun of themselves, and they make it lighthearted from the very beginning. But it's a show that can be pleasing for kids, but it also can be equally as entertaining for adults, similar to the old Disney movies. Aladdin in the movie, Aladdin in the Broadway show, I think did a great job. I saw a touring production. I didn't see the Broadway production. These are not the actors that I saw, but he did a great job. The person that I saw, there was a song added. It was called "Proud of Your Boy." I believe that was supposed to be part of the original Disney's Aladdin, but it was cut from the movie. I think. Don't quote me on it, but I'm almost sure. I'm 100% unsure that I know that I don't. And the Proud of Your Boy, I didn't care. It was a little too sappy for me. It didn't do it for me. And so I could have done without that, but they're trying to make a 90-minute children's movie into a 2.5-hour Broadway show with a 15-minute intermission. So they've got to add some stuff. Jasmine was great in the show. I had no complaints about Jasmine. Where it's at is really the genie for me. And so the genie does a great part because he's the part that you're looking forward to the whole time. He's the showstopper numbers. He's the the thing that you're looking for in that regard. So then there's Jafar. Now, the interesting thing about Jafar, I thought Jafar did really well in the show. The version I saw was not this actor. This is Mr. Jonathan Freeman, which if you don't know who that is, you do. You just didn't know. Jonathan Freeman was actually the voice of Jafar in the animated movie. And they got him to come do the Broadway show. And I thought that was a pretty incredible movie. I thought that was very clever. And I'm sure he did a fabulous job. The person I saw was not Jafar, but he had the sort of the mannerisms and the speaking pattern of Jafar. And so it worked out very well. In this show, they made some choices. There is no magic carpet. There is no Abu. But Iago, they actually have portrayed by an actor who is sort of a sidekick. So he is a human sidekick to Jafar, but sort of serves that role of what Iago was as a parrot. But they decided not to do a parrot or a puppet. If you look at Lion King, they have a puppet for Timon and for Pumbaa and for Zazu and those creatures. They decided not to do that here. They do not have a carpet. They do not have Abu. Now, I will say that I was a little disappointed at the carpet because I've seen in Disney, they have this Aladdin spectacular show or something like that in one of the Disney land. I think it was Disneyland Park had that. And they did the carpet and they had someone, with a lot of athleticism and acrobatic ability that was in the suit and actually did flips and stood on their hands and just did some cool stuff. So I kind of feel like the carpet should have been a character. There is a carpet. There's a flying carpet in the flying carpet scene. I can show you the world, but there's no carpet character like was in the movie. I mean, the carpet was a character in the Disney movie. It was a character in the Disney park in the show they did, and they didn't do that here. I realize having a live monkey on stage might be difficult, and I also realize doing a puppetry could kind of take away from some of the magic. So typical, you got the love story between Aladdin and Jasmine, and there's some added little songs and bits there. But then you get into the Cave of Wonders. And they do a really cool job with, sort of the outside of the cave and him entering, and then it kind of flips around here, and so you can see, the outline of the lion here. Here's the teeth, and there's the eyes. So this is from the inside of the cave, and so you see all the gold and the baubles and everything, and it's really kind of epic and cool. And then enter Genie, which again, he makes it his own. I don't know the exact time, but I think the Friend Like Me song is something like 8 minutes, 9 minutes, 10 minutes, somewhere in there. It's like, it's a long song in the show because they just milk it for every ounce that it's worth, and they do a good job with it. There's a part where he actually, steps aside and he's like, oh, bring the house lights up a little bit. I'm going to sing some old favorites. And he does even some other Disney songs within the Friend Like Me song. And it's a spectacular number. They do a great job. And then he ends it. I mean, they have, pyrotechnics and glitter and streamers and all sorts of stuff. And it's just a really show-stopping number. I mean, you're going to remember this number if anything else. Now, this is something that if you go on online, you can actually find some performances of this or a similar performance. They don't do the full 8 to 10 minutes, but you can find some pretty close ones, and you can see that online almost as it appears in the Broadway show. They have changed some elements over the years. Prince Ali and the genie kind of in his more human form and not a genie form coming out and performing there. There he is, Mr. Ali Abamwa. And here's the flying carpet scene. Flying carpet scene I thought was really well done. I didn't find any flaws with it. I thought it was pretty fluid the way it happened. When people talk about it, they talk about it as this amazing thing, which I didn't find it that awe-inspiring. I thought it was cool, but I was like, okay, it's a carpet. It's fine. Like it didn't seem it didn't seem all that technically impressive to me, but I believe that there's a lot that goes back to it. I remember watching this interview with some of the designers and people at Broadway, and they're like, yeah, and the what goes behind making that carpet fly is just incredible. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, it's a flying carpet, so it depends. Now, these three individuals are almost the replacement for Abu, and I'm not going to try to pronounce their names because I don't recall them all. Is it Meshach and Indigo, or I don't remember their names. They were part of the original movie, and I've only seen this on Broadway once. But I think there's "Friend Like Me," Prince Ali, those really well-known songs, that were really they hit my heart and they hit my nostalgia button. Even things like "Part of Your World." I mean, they're a great song, but not as my favorite. I'd say I put the two Genie songs up there. And then this was probably my favorite song of the show, beyond those two songs. They do a song called High Adventure. And it's just fun. And the visuals along with it and the little sight gags that they have is just really good. So if you've never heard from the Broadway show, because it wasn't in the original Disney movie, High Adventure, just go ahead and look that up. Listen to High Adventure. You should get a kick out of it. I sure did. So these three friends sort of take the place of Abu. Abu was the friend, and he would do anything for him, and he helped Aladdin, and he was kind of a Jimmy Cricket of sorts, saying, oh, should you do that, should you not? And so these three friends sort of served that purpose in there instead of Abu. So I approved of that. Yeah, and costumes, visuals, all really great for the show. There's always a happy ending at the end. There's the Genie in his Hawaiian shirt ready to get going. Yeah, I think it was a success. Do I like it more than The Lion King? Maybe. I saw Lion King before Aladdin, and Lion King was great. The Lion King is very stylized, where Aladdin seems, even though, it has a style and it has color and it has a tone to it, but Lion King was more abstract and artistic in some ways, with some of the ways they design prop pieces and the animals and such. This is a little bit more realistic. I like them both for different reasons. I would say that Aladdin is up to the caliber of what The Lion King was. So depending if you liked one movie more than the other, or if you like artistic, stylized stuff or more realistic stuff, that might help you pick and choose which one you would see first. I just say see both of them, and you don't have to choose. So Aladdin is it's definitely a winner. Disney knows how to do Broadway for the most part, and when they don't know how to do Broadway, they cut their losses pretty quick. If a show has been on Broadway or a touring production for many, many years, it's a winner. They're going to cut their losses pretty quickly. I think, Tarzan ran for a hot minute. They had a Little Mermaid that I've actually seen a little version of Little Mermaid that was touring that was great. It was fabulous. But the original Broadway production, I wasn't sold on. They had people on roller skates with their tails kind of sticking out their posterior region. It was weird in my opinion. But so Disney shows, they kind of cut their losses pretty quick, but things like The Lion King that have been around for a while, Aladdin has been around for a while. I know Frozen's becoming big, once it can go back on tour and things like that. But Aladdin's a really good one. And I recommend, if you haven't seen it, consider seeing it. If you can go to a touring production or something like that, if you can find a local, really high quality theater and it's regionally based or community theater, I don't expect too much, especially because Disney is really heavy on a lot of the special effects and things. But you might be able to find something like that. Otherwise, just download the soundtrack. Just go ahead and listen to the show. It's a great way to get as close as you can to the show without having to pay that extra ticket price. So hopefully you enjoyed this review of Aladdin on Broadway. We'll see you next time right here on Pop Art Hunter.